Welcome everyone in the course of network-based application development. The course code is 4166 or 5166. My name is Ayman Ali. You may call me Ali. I'm a PhD student. I'm really grateful to be with you on this course to help you build the skills needed for web development in general. You may reach me through my email. I usually check my email many times during the day. If you didn't hear back from me within maximum 48 hours, that means I didn't receive your email. Please resend your email or reach out to my TA and ask him to schedule a meeting if you need to. My TA information is like his name is Razur Rashid. He is a PhD student too. You may reach him through his email. The office hours for me and for my TA, my office hours as an instructor, it's not gonna be fixed. So anytime students needs me, then we can set up a time on your own convenient time to discuss one-on-one about your problem or concern. For my TA, his office hours is gonna be on Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. All office hours is going to be done through WebEx. So the course objectives, as you may know, like web application is network-based application. So the core thing that you have to understand before you start developing any web application is to understand the protocols that support communication network. So understanding how does the network work, it's really important foundation for you to be able to build a web application. So after we understand some of the communication networks foundation, then we'll be moving to the programming paradigms, methodologies, languages, tools, and standards that we need as a web developer. Then we will tackle some of the design development factors. Then we create a web-based artifacts with practical or personal social intent. So the topics we are going to cover in this course, it's gonna be dense. So it's expected from the students to spend some time trying to understand and practice. Practice makes perfect. If students doesn't practice, it's not gonna be beneficial for him or her to get the right skills to be a web developer. So the topics, it's gonna be mostly about JavaScript development as the main technology for the web development here in this course. It's important for the students to understand the foundation of these technologies. So we will start our learning with computer networking. What are the topics that a web developer needs from computer networking? We are not gonna go any deep with computer networking protocols, all these stuff. We only gonna work with the protocols that we need to, let's say, to build our web application. Then another skill that any web developer these days have to master is how to deal with code version control systems like GitHub or Bitbucket. After that, we're gonna understand the basic web application architectures, different types, what kind of paradigms that we can go with to build a web application. After that, we're gonna learn how to build web pages using HTML. Mainly, we're gonna understand how to build the skeleton of your web page using HTML, or let's say the structure of the page. After we learn how to build the basic structure for the page, we are going to style these pages using CSS. After that, since HTML and CSS, it's usually used for static pages or once it's loaded on your browser, then there's no way you can change these, let's say, data or pages. So sometimes we need to add more interactivity to our web pages. So in this case, we are going to learn the basics of JavaScript and document object manipulation, which is going to be used to manipulate the content of any web page after it's been loaded in your browser. That means we add more interactivity to web pages. After that, we will move to how to build application using one of like the hottest framework, which is Node.js. In Node.js, we're gonna go with like the basics of Node.js. Then we will move to how to build like file systems, how to build a web server using Node.js. After that, we're gonna let's say work with database. In this course, we are mainly gonna focus on SQLite database, but any other, let's say any other database should be like almost the same procedures. So after that, we are going to learn about REST API, how to make your application, like let's say add the functionality to communicate with other systems through API. We are mainly going to focus on how to build with Node.js, as I said. Finally, we are going to understand some of the threats or let's say web application security that any web developer at least should understand. What are the threats that it might like affect their website. Finally, we are going to work with how to deploy your web application. So the way this project or let's say this course is built is to make the students like gradually move from one step to another. It's let's say from the ground we are going to let's say we are using the bottom up approach. So you will build like the basic let's say skills to how to build a website, how to add more interactivity, how to interact with the back end, how to build a front end. After that, you will go with how to deploy your website to make it available for everyone who wants to visit this website. So the prerequisite for this course, it's ITIS 2300 or ITIS 3135, which is web-based application development. In addition, it's requirements that you have taken data structures course before. If you have a previous experience in HTML and CSS and JavaScript, this means you have like make a lot easier. This course make it a lot easier for you. So the technologies that we are going to discuss in this course, mainly we are gonna focus on how to use JavaScript and related technologies for web development. Different technologies such as PHP, Python, Java is acceptable, but providing support to these languages is not guaranteed. Me and my TA will try our best to help you like with the knowledge you have, how to use it like in building a web application. But as I said, we are mainly focused on JavaScript. But if you are using like any other language and you want to go with this language, then we are okay with that. But it's not guaranteed that we may give you some help in case you need this kind of help. So the textbook for this course, there's no required textbooks. I try to create the slides for each week and the content. I'm trying to make it just like very shallow, very direct to the point. So the most of the skills you are going to take from this class should be very directed with no much of talking or no much of reading or spending more time. So it's more about practical stuff more than theoretical stuff. I'm not forgetting about the conceptual stuff here in this course. So the grading. Frankly speaking, this course should be an A plus or A course. So students will find it easy to get an A if you put some time and you spend some time to do the exercise and the milestones on time. So, as you may know, the attendance, since it's an online course, so students are responsible for reaching out to the course staff and schedule meetings if they need to. As I said, like everything posted on Canvas, it's as a student, it's your responsibility to be able to follow up with all the things that I post week by week. So here's the evaluation breakdown. We are going to have 3 quizzes. These 3 quizzes is going to cover the conceptual stuff like computer networking, web security. These, since it doesn't have any designated milestone, then I will have some quizzes for you. This worth of 10% of your grade. For each module, let's say, the first module, let's say, we're going to discuss is HTML. There are like some requirements to do some exercises. I'm not gonna give you like some exercises, but at least I would expect the things that I've explained during the lecture, you should be able to, let's say, practice it, try to do it by your own. Do not try to just copy and paste. You have to write it your own. Your hand should be able to work with these technologies. So for the practice exercise, you have to do some work. You have to practice some of the things that we explain in the lecture. So 80% of your grades is going to be about milestones. Each week, students are expected to deliver some milestones. So, for example, the first milestone is going to be how to interact with GitHub, for example. Let's say the second one is going to be how to build web pages using HTML. These milestones should be like be done in the timely manner. So, let's say you haven't finished the first one. Me and my TA will not be able to help you with milestone 2 unless you finished your first milestones. So the milestones requirements should be easy to follow if you as a student follow what we explained on the lecture we posted every week. So as I said, the milestones is built in a bottom-up approach, which means each topic should be used to add additional skills to your web development skills. So here are the list of the expected milestones. The first milestone is going to be how to interact with GitHub. As I said, nowadays GitHub is considered to be an important tool for any programming projects, especially for web development. The second one is going to be about how to create an HTML project prototyping. The whole project for this course is going to be how to build your own blog site. So the second milestone is going to be how to build HTML pages for your own blog site. The third milestone is going to be about styling your project. So the first one, you create the structure or the architecture of your web project. Then you add some style to it. After that, you will add some interactivity like style switcher and font zoom functionality using JS and DOM. After that, once you understand and you know how to deal with Node.js, then you will start to work with a file system and you're going to use it as a backend database. After that, you are going to replace the file system backend database. You're going to replace it with SQLite. This is gonna give you like all the required skills that you have to acquire as a student to distinguish between how to use flat file systems and how to use relational database system. After that, we are going to learn how to build REST API, how to make your application communicatable with any other system through REST API. The last milestone is going to be how to communicate with other systems who are providing, let's say, REST API, how to fetch these data from other websites to publish it in your web site, along with how to secure your application. So these are the tentative topics by weeks. In the first week, we are going to go with computer networking for web developers. Then we are going to go with how to interact with code version control system or GitHub in this course. Later, we're gonna understand the web application architecture. In the second week, we are going to learn how to use HTML to build web pages. Then we are going to learn CSS to style the web pages that you created with HTML. Just like a hint here, or let's say a note here, it's important for the students to know the basics here. So we are not going to do like everything on this one, but I will give you like the required skills that you will make you create your own web pages. It's gonna make you able to style your web pages. So for week 3, we are going to learn about JavaScript and document object manipulation, how to use these two skills to interact or add some interactivity to your web application. In the fourth week, we are going to start with Node.js, how to work with Node.js, how to work with file systems in Node.js. During the week 5, we are going to learn how to interact with database in Node.js and how to build REST API in Node.js. The last week, which is going to be the week 6, we are going to understand some of the threats that our web application might face, like cross-site scripting, SQL injection, all this stuff. And we are going to learn how to deploy your application to make it available for everyone over the internet to visit it. So these are the tentative milestones by weeks 2. So for the first week, you are required to finish the first milestone, which is how to create accounts with GitHub, create some basic foundation for the whole course on GitHub. During the week 2, you are going to create your project web pages, and you are going to work with styling these web pages. During the week 3, you are going to add some interactivity. Mainly, you are going to do the style switchers and font zoom functionality. During week 4, you are going to use file system as a backend system, database, and you are going to replace this file system with SQLite to make it work as a backend database. During the week 5, you are going to build REST API. Here, we are going to build what they call CRUD, or create, read, update, and delete operations using REST API. During week 6, we are going to understand how to consume REST API, and then we will go with project deployment. As you can see, project deployment is optional. I will have some extra points for this one for the students who choose to do some deployment. It's not gonna be that complicated. For sure, I'm gonna have some lecture like for this topic in general. If students like choose to go with it, then the extra points, it's gonna be beneficial for students who need some extra points. So how to excel in this course? Practice, practice, practice. So practice topics covered on each module if possible. So let's say the first module is going to be about computer networking. This kind of knowledge is conceptual. So there is no way that you can just like do some, let's say, practice on it. But when it comes to, let's say, HTML, there will be a lot of stuff that you may try. So things like how to create basic web pages, how to add images to your web pages, how to add like text, how to work with tables using HTML, how to style all these stuff. So it's important for you as a student to just practice. If you don't practice, you will not gain any benefits from this course. But if you are trying to practice and follow along, and if you have any problem and you contact me as an instructor or my TA, then we'll be able to help you to build the knowledge required for you to be a web developer. So one more thing, do not wait until the last minute to finish the milestone. The sooner, the better for you. If you just like start on, let's say, on the milestone and you are having some difficulties with it, please, 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 we are here to help you. Just let us know and we can just like do the work with you to make it like, let's say, enjoyable journey to understand and to learn new skills that you are going to need it when you graduate. Okay? So that's all for the syllabus. I will see you next in the first module. Thank you.